The Celestial Archives vessel Thornstar drifted silently through the Orion void, its sensors probing the darkness between stars. Senior Archivist Vex Na adjusted her crystalline sensory nodes, focusing on an unusual reading at the edge of their scanning range. After 2 centuries of cataloging space anomalies, she had developed an instinct for the extraordinary. "Captain Zindar," she called out, her voice resonating through the bridge's audio crystals. "I'm detecting unusual mass signatures ahead. Configuration suggests artificial structures." The captain, a towering Archivian with iridescent scales, glided to her station. "Another ancient mining operation, perhaps?" "No," Vexna responded, her crystalline form pulsing with excitement. "The formation is too precise. These are ships." The Thornstar's engines hummed as they approached the coordinates. As the void ahead cleared, the bridge crew fell silent. Dozens of vessels hung motionless in space, their dark hulls reflecting nothing. They were massive, dwarfing even the largest modern cruisers, yet their design seemed remarkably basic. "Initial analysis suggests these vessels are of human origin," the ship's AI announced, causing murmurs of disbelief among the crew. "Impossible," Captain Zindar declared. "Humans only achieved faster-than-light travel 50 years ago. These ships appear far older." Vexna studied the readings more closely. The vessels showed signs of extreme age, their hulls pitted and scarred by centuries of micro-impacts. Yet something about their arrangement bothered her. They maintained perfect formation despite the gravitational influences that should have scattered them over time. "Permission to lead a detailed survey, Captain," she requested, her sensory nodes already calculating optimal scanning patterns. "Granted, but maintain safe distance. Humans may be newcomers to galactic society, but they're known for leaving surprising gifts behind." The survey took 3 days. With each new scan, Vexna's confusion grew. The ships appeared to be constructed primarily of basic metals: iron, titanium, carbon steel. No quantum alloys, no biotech composites, none of the materials that made modern space travel possible. Yet their power signatures defied explanation. "Look at this," she showed the captain. "These readings suggest active energy sources within the hulls, but they're unlike anything in our database. They appear to be cycling." Before the captain could respond, a new voice joined their conversation. "Fascinating, isn't it?" Dr. James Chen, the Thornstar's human scientific liaison, approached their station. "Mind if I take a look?" Vexna had almost forgotten about their human crew member. The Celestial Archives had begun including human representatives in their expeditions recently, part of the integration process for Earth's emerging stellar civilization. "Of course, Doctor," she adjusted her display for human visual ranges. "Perhaps you can explain why your people would build ships this basic." Chen studied the scans, his expression unreadable. "What makes you think they're basic?" "The materials, the design, the lack of modern technology." Vexna began. "Sometimes," Chen interrupted gently, "the simplest exterior hides the most complex interior. May I suggest a closer inspection?" Something in his tone made Vexna's crystals vibrate with uncertainty. She turned to the captain, who had been silently observing their exchange. "Approved," Zindar decided. "Prepare a shuttle. Dr. Chen, you'll accompany the survey team. Your perspective might prove valuable." As they approached the nearest vessel in their shuttle, its true scale became apparent. The hull stretched for kilometers, its surface a maze of what appeared to be manual maintenance hatches and external power conduits. Primitive by modern standards, yet. There, Chen pointed to a section of hull. That would be an ideal entry point. Vexna was about to question his certainty when her scanners detected a faint energy pulse from that exact location. The seemingly solid metal shimmed, revealing a perfectly preserved airlock. "How did you?" she began. Chen smiled. "Let's just say Earth has a long memory, Archivist. And some memories are worth preserving carefully. As they prepared to dock, Vexna couldn't shake the feeling that they weren't just discovering an ancient fleet. They were uncovering the first piece of a puzzle that would change everything the galaxy thought it knew about humanity. The airlock cycled with surprising efficiency for its apparent age. As they stepped into the vessel's interior, their suits' lights revealed corridors that seemed to stretch endlessly in both directions. The air was stale but breathable, another impossibility for a truly ancient vessel. These markings, Vexna traced what appeared to be writing on the walls. They're unlike any human script I've studied. That's because they're not just writing, Chen replied, his hand hovering over the symbols. They're keys. The moment his fingers touched the wall, everything changed. Lights flickered to life along the corridors, and a low hum began to build throughout the ship. Vexna's sensors exploded with readings that shouldn't have been possible. Dr. Chen, she managed, her crystalline form flickering with alarm. What exactly are we dealing with? He turned to face her, his expression both proud and slightly sad. The truth, Archivist Vexna. And believe me, it's far more interesting than the simple story of humanity you thought you knew. Behind them, deep in the ship's core, something ancient and powerful began to wake up. The Thornstar's Emergency Council convened within hours of the first activation signal. Vexna stood before the gathered officers, her crystalline form projecting the data they'd collected. Captain Zindar presided over the meeting, while Dr. Chen sat quietly in the corner, observing. The energy signatures are unlike anything in our database, Vexna explained, displaying complex waveform patterns. What we initially thought were basic power conduits are actually part of an integrated system that spans the entire fleet. And you say this technology isn't in any of our records? First Officer Melthor's bioluminescent patterns flashed with skepticism. It's not that it isn't in our records, Vexna corrected. It's that it shouldn't be possible at all. The power density we're detecting exceeds our most advanced systems by several orders of magnitude. The room erupted in murmurs. Captain Zindar raised a scaled hand for silence. Dr. Chen, perhaps you could enlighten us. These are supposedly human vessels, after all. Chen stood slowly, walking to the center of the room. What do you know about Earth's first contact with alien life? Standard historical record, Melthor replied. 53 years ago, a Centaurian trading vessel encountered a human colony ship near Alpha Centauri. Humanity had just achieved primitive FTL travel. That's the official story, Chen nodded. But tell me, did anyone ever question why a species that had just achieved FTL travel already had colony ships? The room fell silent. Vexna's sensors detected subtle changes in the energy patterns emanating from the fleet. They were becoming stronger, more coherent. The truth is, Chen continued, humanity achieved faster-than-light travel over 3 centuries ago. But our first glimpses of the galaxy showed us something that made us very, very careful about how we revealed ourselves. He gestured to the display, where new data was streaming in from the fleet. These ships aren't relics. They're sentinels, placed here deliberately, disguised as abandoned vessels. Part of a much larger network that humanity built while the rest of the galaxy thought we were still figuring out basic rocket science. Impossible, Melthor declared. Our civilizations have been monitoring Earth for centuries. We would have detected dash. Would you? Chen interrupted softly. If we could build ships that hide their true nature so completely that even your advanced sensors saw only what we wanted them to see, what else might we have hidden? Vexna's analysis subroutines suddenly flagged something in the new data. Captain, the energy patterns, they're forming a coherent transmission. It's being broadcast on frequencies we didn't even know existed. The ship's holographic display activated automatically, showing a 3-dimensional map of the galaxy. Hundreds of points of light began to appear, forming a vast network that stretched through every major sector of known space. By the first light, Captain Zindar whispered. Those are all human installations, Chen confirmed. Each disguised as something mundane. Abandoned stations, ancient wrecks, asteroid mines, hidden in plain sight while we quietly prepared. Prepared for what? Vexna asked, her crystalline form vibrating with a mixture of fear and fascination. Before Chen could answer, the ship's AI interrupted. Multiple unidentified vessels detected entering the system. Configuration unknown. Energy signatures exceed all known parameters. The tactical display showed massive ships emerging from what appeared to be tiers in space itself. Their design was organic, almost viral, spreading tendrils of dark energy that seemed to corrupt the very fabric of reality around them. That, Chen said quietly, is what we've been preparing for. The reason humanity chose to hide its true capabilities. We called them the Devourers. We first detected their approach 300 years ago, and we've been building our defenses ever since. The alien ships moved with impossible speed, but as they approached, the seemingly derelict human fleet began to change. Layers of artificial decay fell away like shed skin. What had appeared to be basic metal plates shifted and flowed, revealing crystalline structures that pulsed with contained energy. All this time, Vexna realized, your species wasn't primitive at all. You were building an ambush on a galactic scale. Chen nodded grimly. We knew they would come eventually. They've consumed 1,000 galaxies before this one. But humanity had something none of their previous victims had, time to prepare, and the wisdom to keep our preparations secret. The first shots were fired. The Devourers' weapons, beams of pure entropy that should have annihilated anything they touched, splashed harmlessly against shields that shouldn't have existed. The human fleet's response was devastating, unleashing technologies that made their most advanced known achievements look like children's toys. Captain, Chen said formally, I have new orders from Earth Command. You're about to witness the real first contact between humanity and the galaxy. I suggest you broadcast what you're about to see to every civilized world. They need to know that they're not alone in this fight anymore. As the battle unfolded before them, Vexna understood that she was watching more than just a conflict. She was witnessing the moment when humanity finally revealed its true face to the galaxy, not as the primitive newcomers they pretended to be, but as guardians who had spent centuries preparing for this exact moment. The age of deception was over. The age of resistance was about to begin. The Galactic Council's emergency session erupted into chaos as the Thornstar's transmission reached every major world simultaneously. Vexna watched the reactions cascade across the galaxy through the ship's quantum communications array. Fear, disbelief, anger, but most of all, confusion. The human deception goes deeper than the fleet, she reported, monitoring the incoming data streams. Their hidden installations are activating across every sector. What we thought were abandoned outposts, ancient ruins, even entire primitive colonies, they're all part of an interconnected defense network. The Devourers' ships continued their advance, their dark energy weapons tearing holes in reality itself. But for every breach they created, a previously hidden human facility responded. Space itself seemed to stabilize around these revealed installations, their technology somehow maintaining the fundamental laws of physics against the invaders' entropy weapons. It's like watching a game board flip over, Chen remarked, studying the tactical displays. For centuries, humanity has been playing with pieces visible only to us. Now everyone sees the full board. The Thornstar shuddered as another wave of reality distortions washed over them. Captain Zindar's scales shifted to emergency colors. Can your hidden defenses actually stop them, Dr. Chen? Not stop, Chen corrected. Channel. Every attack they launch, every reality breach they create, they're following paths we laid out centuries ago. The fleet you discovered isn't just a defensive line. It's part of a trap 300 years in the making. As if to confirm his words, the Devourer's fleet suddenly found itself boxed in by activated human installations. Their attempts to tear through space to escape were met with previously hidden stabilization fields. Their weapons, designed to unmake matter itself, were caught in containment grids that had waited centuries for this moment. The Devourers consume galaxies by breaking down the fundamental forces that hold reality together, Chen explained. But humanity discovered something they didn't expect: the laws of physics can be reinforced, strengthened. We couldn't build weapons strong enough to defeat them directly, so we built something else instead. Vexna's sensors detected new energy patterns emerging from the human fleet. These readings, they're not weapons at all, are they? No, Chen smiled. They're locks. For 3 centuries, humanity has been building a cage for beings that devour realities. Every seemingly primitive human outpost, every abandoned facility, they're all connection points in a galaxy-spanning matrix designed to stabilize our universe against their entropy attacks. The Devourers' ships began to lose coherence as the human network activated fully. Their reality-breaking weapons reflected back on them, contained and redirected by fields of reinforced spacetime. What had appeared to be simple metal hulls on the human ships revealed themselves to be layers of reality-anchoring technology, each disguised as primitive materials. That's why you hid your true capabilities, Captain Zindar realized. If they had known what you were building, they would have attacked before the network was complete, Chen nodded. Every primitive human colony ship, every basic trade route we established, they were all precisely calculated steps in positioning our network. We had to appear harmless, politically neutral, technologically inferior. The perfect non-threat. Across the galaxy, hidden human installations continued to activate. Space stations transformed, revealing quantum stabilization cores. Asteroid mines unfolded into reality anchor points. Even the simplest human settlements showed signs of housing incredibly advanced technology, all designed to strengthen the fundamental forces of the universe against the Devourers' entropy weapons. But why? Vexna asked. Why protect a galaxy that didn't even know it needed protection? Chen's expression softened. Because 300 years ago, when we first detected the Devourers' approach, we made a choice. We could have tried to save ourselves, build defenses around Earth and let the rest of the galaxy fall. Instead, we chose to defend everyone, even if it meant centuries of hiding our true nature. The battle continued to unfold, but it was no longer just a military engagement. It was the revelation of humanity's great work, a species that had sacrificed its place among the stars, endured centuries of being underestimated and dismissed, all to build a defense that could save not just themselves, but every species in the galaxy. As the Devourers' fleet found itself trapped within humanity's carefully constructed cage of reinforced spacetime, Vexna understood that she was witnessing more than just a victory. She was seeing the truth about humanity, not conquerors, not primitives, but guardians who had hidden their light for centuries to protect a galaxy that never knew it needed saving. The age of deception was over, but the true age of humanity was just beginning. The Thornstar's observation deck offered a stunning view of history unfolding. The Devourers' fleet, once seemingly unstoppable, now hung suspended in a web of reinforced spacetime, their reality-breaking weapons contained within fields of stabilized physics. But the real drama was playing out across the galaxy's political channels. The harmonious collective demands an explanation for this deception, First Officer Melthor reported, his bioluminescence pulsing with agitation. The quantum concordat is threatening sanctions. Even the silicon consciousness is expressing uncertainty. 300 years of carefully maintained appearances, undone in a day, Chen mused, watching the streams of diplomatic traffic flood the quantum networks. Though I suppose that was always the plan. Vexna had been analyzing the activation patterns of humanity's hidden network. The technological gap is significant. These installations, they're not just advanced, they're operating on principles we thought were theoretically impossible. Not impossible, Chen corrected. Just carefully hidden. Every major human breakthrough over the past 3 centuries was immediately classified and integrated into the defense network. While we shared carefully selected innovations with the galaxy, our best minds were working on the real problem: how to cage beings that eat realities. The ship's AI interrupted with a priority alert. Multiple diplomatic vessels approaching. Reading signatures from 15 major galactic powers. Captain Zindar's scales shifted to diplomatic patterns. It seems humanity has some explaining to do, Dr. Chen. Actually, Chen smiled, I believe Earth has perfect timing, as always. As if on cue, news signals began broadcasting across all frequencies. The hidden human network was transmitting data, not just technical specifications, but historical records, research data, defense protocols. 3 centuries of human advancement, freely shared with every spacefaring civilization. We're not just revealing our deception, Chen explained. We're revealing why it was necessary, and more importantly, how we did it. The Devourers aren't defeated, they're contained. Maintaining that containment will require the cooperation of every species in the galaxy. The data stream continued, showing how human developments had been carefully measured and distributed to guide other species toward compatible technologies without revealing their true purpose. Every trade agreement, every technological exchange, every diplomatic mission, all had been calculated steps in preparing the galaxy for this moment. The primitive hull materials we use to hide our ships. Chen gestured to the fleet. They're actually templates for converting standard ship plating into reality anchoring systems. The basic human trading protocols we established. They're designed to be upgraded into quantum-stabilized communication networks. Even our simple colonial infrastructure can be transformed into containment field generators. Vexna's crystals pulsed with sudden understanding. You weren't just building defenses. You were preparing everyone else to help maintain them. Humanity accepted its role as guardian 3 centuries ago, Chen nodded. But we knew we couldn't maintain the containment alone forever. Every piece of technology we shared, every diplomatic relationship we built, they were foundations for what comes next. The approaching diplomatic vessels were receiving the data stream now. Vexna could detect their systems beginning to resonate with the human network, their standard technologies recognizing patterns that had been subtly embedded in their development over decades of careful human guidance. Your species sacrificed advancement, recognition, even trust, all to protect a galaxy that thought you were barely worth noticing, Captain Zindar observed. Why not simply reveal the threat and ask for help? The Devourers have consumed 1,000 galaxies, Chen replied quietly. Each time, they attacked the moment their presence was detected, before defenses could be prepared. We couldn't risk open preparation. So we chose a harder path, to build our defenses in secret, and guide others toward compatibility without their knowledge. New alerts flashed across the displays as the diplomatic vessels began transmitting responses. Not accusations or demands, but acknowledgments. Understanding. The data stream had revealed not just humanity's deception, but the care with which it had been maintained, never taking advantage, never seeking power, only preparing for this moment. Earth Command is broadcasting on all frequencies, the ship's AI announced. They're requesting coordination with all major powers to begin integration of defensive systems. Vexna watched as the galaxy's political landscape transformed as rapidly as the human fleet had. Centuries of carefully laid foundations were finally bearing fruit as species after species recognized how humanity had subtly prepared them for this moment. The age of secrecy is over, Chen said, watching the diplomatic channels light up with cooperation protocols. Now we find out if humanity's greatest gamble will pay off, if a galaxy united by hidden guardians can stand against those who would unmake reality itself. Around them, the containment field holding the Devourers continued to pulse with power, a testament to humanity's patient foresight and their willingness to be misunderstood for centuries, all to protect a galaxy that never knew it needed saving. 1 month after humanity's revelation, the galaxy was a transformed place. The Thorn Star, once a simple archive vessel, had become a coordination hub for the greatest technological integration in known history. Vexna stood at her station, monitoring the streams of data as civilizations across space worked to merge their systems with humanity's defense network. The Quantum Concordat reports successful integration of their core worlds, she announced. The Silicon Consciousness has adapted 80% of their processing nodes. Even the Harmonious Collective is ahead of schedule. Necessity is a powerful motivator, Chen remarked, studying the containment field that still held the Devourers. Especially when the alternative is the unmaking of reality itself. The captured Devourer ships continued their struggles, but each attempt to break free only strengthened the understanding of their nature. Their entropy weapons, designed to unravel the fabric of spacetime, provided crucial data for improving the containment systems. Hard to believe just a month ago, most of the galaxy saw humans as technological infants, Captain Zindar commented. Now every major power is rebuilding their infrastructure based on your designs. That was always the plan, Chen explained. Why do you think human technology seems so compatible with everyone else's systems? We designed our primitive technology to be easily upgraded. Every trade deal, every shared innovation, they were all building blocks for this moment. A new alert drew their attention. The containment field surrounding the Devourer fleet was showing subtle changes. Not weakening, but transforming. The combined efforts of galactic civilization were having an effect none had predicted. The field isn't just containing them anymore, Vexna reported, her crystalline form vibrating with excitement. It's healing reality around them. The damage their weapons caused to space-time, it's being repaired. A side effect of combining so many different approaches to our base technology, Chen nodded. Humanity built the foundation, but every species adding their own innovations is creating something greater than we could have achieved alone. The Devourer's ships began to lose cohesion, their reality-corrupting nature turned back upon itself by the combined technological might of a united galaxy. What humanity had contained, the combined efforts of all spacefaring civilizations were beginning to cure. 3 centuries of preparation, Captain Zindar mused. All to create this moment, not just to fight the Devourers, but to unite the galaxy against them. Unity through necessity, Chen agreed. But perhaps something more. Every species brings their own perspective, their own innovations. Together, we're not just defending reality, we're learning to strengthen it. Across the galaxy, the integration continued. Former enemies worked together, sharing resources and knowledge. The human network, designed to cage entropy, was evolving into something far more powerful, a framework for galactic cooperation. The celestial archives have been updated, Vexna announced. Humanity's true history is being recorded. The centuries of hidden advancement, the careful guidance of other species, the patient preparation for this moment, it's all being preserved. And what do the archives say about humanity's role now? Zindar asked. They name us the Silent Guardians, Chen replied softly. Though I suspect we won't be very silent anymore. There's too much work to be done, too much knowledge to share. The Devourers may be contained, but they're not the only threats to reality out there. New alerts flashed across their screens, more breakthroughs, more innovations, as species after species added their own understanding to the growing network. The containment field was becoming something new, a manifestation of unified purpose that transcended any single civilization's capabilities. Look, Vexna pointed to the tactical display. The Devourer ships were breaking down, their reality-corrupting nature unraveling as the combined power of galactic civilization rewrote the laws they had sought to break. So what comes next? Captain Zindar asked. Chen smiled. Something none of us could have predicted. Humanity spent centuries preparing for this moment, but what's emerging now is beyond anything we imagined. We're not just saving reality, we're learning to reshape it, together. Around them, the stars seemed to shine brighter, as if reality itself was growing stronger. The age of secrets was over. The age of unity had begun. And somewhere in the vast network of cooperation and innovation that was spreading across space, the foundations of a new era were being laid, one where humanity's greatest deception had led to the galaxy's greatest triumph. The Devourers had sought to unmake reality. Instead, they had inspired its defenders to remake it, stronger than ever before.